Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. So today we're going to talk about trinomials. So when a is not equal to 1, this is an example of one of the factorization methods. So we've talked about the common factors, the difference of two squares. We've talked about when trinomials when a is equal to 1. But now we're going to talk about trinomials when a is not equal to 1. And like I always say, if you've not subscribed, please do so. So that, and also turn on the notification bell so that when I upload new videos, you'll be the first person to know. So in the previous video as well, I also told you that the general expressions of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. And I also explained that a trinomial is an algebraic expression that has three non-zero terms with more than one variable in the expression. And I also told you that the general expression of ax squared plus bx plus c, that this is a quadratic trinomial, all right, in terms of x. And also the a stands for the quadratic coefficient, the b is the linear coefficient, and the c is the free term. We've talked about all this before. And also we've discussed in the previous video that how to solve questions like this. So we talked about question how to factorize questions like this. And here a is equal to 1. That's what we did in the previous video. But in this video now, we want to talk about questions now. But in this case, when a is not equal to 1, like for instance, in this example, you can see a is not 1 here. What do you do? How do you solve it? How do you factorize? Now, there are 9 rules to take note of here. So the first thing you need to know is that you have to first ensure that the coefficient of x squared is greater than 1 or not equal to 1, put it that way. So you have to ensure that the coefficient of x squared, okay, of x squared. So basically, when I say coefficient of x squared, that means I mean a, all right? So remember, I talked about that it's in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. So that means the a here must not be equal to 1. So that means you have to make sure that the a is not equal to 1. So it can be any other number except 1. Then number 2, when you found that, then you have to then multiply the coefficient of x squared, that is the a, and the constant on the independent term, that is the c. So then you have to then multiply the coefficients of x squared, okay? That is the a, okay? Then you have to multiply that and the constant term. So the constant term now is the c, okay? So that means the next thing is that after you make sure that x squared is not equal, a is not equal to 1, that is the coefficient of x squared, then you have to then multiply the coefficient of x squared with c. Now, after you've multiplied that, the next thing that you have to now write down all the possible products that will result in the answer in step 2, all right? So you have to now write all the positive, all the possible, I beg your pardon. So all the possible product pairs. So you have to write down all the possible product pairs that will. So all the possible product pairs that will result in the answer from step 2. Okay. Then after you've done that, you've written all the possible product pairs. The next thing that you have to then, similar to what we did in when a is equal to 1, you have to now determine which of these product pairs from step 3 that will add up and give you the middle term, okay? So you have to now determine, okay, which product pairs. Don't worry, I'm going to solve some questions to use this to explain, all right? From step 3, that will add up to give the middle. Okay? The middle term or the linear coefficient, okay? So that means the linear coefficient. So we're referring to the B, okay? So that is the B. Is that okay? The B. Then when you're done with that, you've determined that. The next thing, then you have to now rewrite the middle term, that is the BX, in terms of the product pairs from step 4, okay? So then you have to now rewrite the middle term. Okay? So that is the BX in terms of the product pairs, okay? So you have to then rewrite it in terms of the product pairs from step 4. Okay? So when you have to, after rewritten that, so the next thing that you have to do, that then you have to then combine the first two terms and the last two terms, okay? Then you simplify the equation and take out any common numbers or expressions, okay? So the next thing you do is that you then have to then combine the first two terms and last two terms. So when you combine that, so you then simplify the equation, okay? And take out any common factors, okay? So you could call the factors could be a number or expressions, okay? So one thing you need to note is that both brackets, okay, after you're done with it, you need to know that both brackets must be the same, okay? So you need to know that both brackets, at the end of the day, after taking out the common factors, both brackets must be the same. All right, so both brackets must be the same. So now, so when you're done taking that out, the next thing that you then have to now take a representative of the common factors in the bracket, then you then put the other ones, other terms outside. Okay, so you then take a representative of the common factors in the bracket. Then put the other terms outside the bracket. So you put it once outside in another what? Bracket. So when you're done doing this step, then step 8, you then have to then equate the first bracket. So that means when you're done factorizing, then you're now solving, right? So you then equate the first bracket similar to when A is equal to 1. So you equate the first bracket and second bracket separately to be equal to 0. Then when you're done, you then simplify and find for the value of x. Okay, simplify and find for the value of x. So we're going to pick an example now to explain this concept. All right, so these are the 9 rules to go. But don't worry, it's very simple. Don't stress yourself so much about it. It's way, way easier than you think. All right, so let's go. So let's pick an example for instance. So let's say we have this question here. We have number 1, let's say we have 6x squared plus 5x minus 6 is equal to what? 0. Now, and we're told to factorize and then solve this question. Then what do? Number 1, ensure that the coefficient of x squared is not equal to 1. So let's get the coefficient out now. So step 1, a is equal to 6, b is equal to 5, and c is equal to what? Minus 6. Are you seeing it? So you can see in this case, a is not equal to 1. So definitely we're going to use this method. Number 2, we then have to multiply the coefficient of x squared, that is a, and the constant term, that is c. All right? So step 2 now, we're going to multiply a and c together. So step 2, our a is 6, and our c is minus 6, and this is going to give us minus what? 36. All right? It's going to give us minus 36. Now, step 3 now. We need to write down all the possible product pairs, okay, that will result in the answer from step 2. So from step 2, we got minus 36. So we need to look at all the possible numbers that we're going to multiply. That is going to give us what? Minus 36, all right? So that means the answer we got is minus 36. So we're looking for all the possible numbers that we can multiply that will give us minus 36. So let's start. The first one you can have 6 and minus 6. That will give you minus 36. You can also have 9 and minus 4. So 9 and minus 4 will also give you 36. Also, you can also get minus 9 and 4. Yes, minus 9 and 4 will also give you 36. Then we can also have 12 and minus 3. 12 and minus 3 will also give you 36. You can also have minus 12 and 3 will also give you minus 36. We can also add one more to this. We can also have, let me remove this a little bit here. So we can also have 36 times 1 will give us minus 1. So 36 times minus 1 will give us minus 36. And we can also have minus 36 and 1. And that will also give us what? 36. Then we're done with that now. So the next part now is that we then have to now check what will give us what? Minus 36. So we've checked that already. So it's 6 times minus 6, 9 times minus 4, minus 9 times 4. So all these numbers are all the possible product pairs that will give us minus 36. Then when we are done, then number 4 now. We now have to determine which of these product pairs from step 3 that when we add them is going to give us the middle term. All right, so let's go. So what is the middle term? So let's do step 4 now. What is the middle term we have? That middle term is 5x. Are you seeing it? So the middle term we have in here is what? 5x. So the middle term is 5x. So we're looking for, or 5. Or can you put it as 5, okay? So that must, the b must be equal to what? 5. So we're looking for what are we going to add? Which of these product pairs we're going to add that's going to give us 5? So let's go. Let's pick the first one. 6 plus minus 6 will give us plus times minus will give you minus. So 6 minus 6 will give you 0. This is not correct. The next one, we have 9 plus or minus 4. So 9 plus times minus will give you minus. So 9 minus 4 will give you 5. And that is the right one. So just for the fun of it, I'm going to go through all the remaining one. And you'll notice as well that they're not going to give us the B to be 5. So let's go. So let's try. We have minus 9 plus 4. This is the third one. Minus 9 plus 4. And when you add this, it's going to give us minus 5. But what we are looking for is plus 5. Then if we check the next one, we have 12 plus and minus 3. So that means plus times minus will give you minus. 12 minus 3 will give you what? 9. If you check the other one, minus 12 plus 3. Minus 12 plus 3 will give you minus 9. You also have the next one, 36 plus a minus 1. Plus times minus will give you minus. So 36 minus 1 will give you 35. The next one, minus 36 plus 1. And you see that it's also going to give you what? 35. So you see that compared to all of them, the only one that could give you the answer you're looking for is the 9 and minus 4. So that means the correct product pairs that's going to give you what you want is 9 and minus 4. That's going to give us what we want. So this is one we're going to select because 9 times minus 4 will give us minus 36 and 9 plus minus 4 will give us 5. Now the next step, step 5. Now we write the middle term in terms of the product pairs, okay? So step 5, we already found that our product pairs, okay, the product pairs we've agreed is what? 9 and minus 4, okay? So 9 and minus 4, let me use, let me just remove this so that it will not confuse anyone. So it's a short form. So that'll give us 9, okay, and minus what? 4. So that means the product pairs we're selecting is 9 and minus 4. So we're going to rewrite the question in light of that. So we're going to rewrite it. So the question we had was 6x squared plus 5x minus 6. So we're going to rewrite the middle term, okay? So you see, it said rewrite the middle term, that is the bx, in terms of the product pairs. So we're going to look at this. So we will have to rewrite it now. So it's going to give us 6x squared, but instead of having 5x, you're going to rewrite it with the product pairs, which is 9x and minus what? 4x. Then you now have minus what? 6. So you can see 9x minus 4x is going to give us 5. So technically, we did not do anything different. Is that okay? Now we'll go to step 6 now. He said we should combine the first two terms and the last two terms. So let's first do that. So let's combine the first two terms. So we have the first two we have here. We have, this is 6x squared and 9x. And the next two we have is minus 4x and minus 6. Okay? Now, the next part said, then simplify the equation and take out the common numbers or expression. All right? So let's go. Let's go back there and take out the common number. So what is common between 6x and 9x? 3x is the common factor. So please, if you missed my video on highest common factor, please go back and have a look. So that means if you have 6x, you'll be left with what? 2x and 3. Are you seeing it? Now, if you take the common factors between minus 4x and minus 6, you'll be left with minus 2. All right? Then you're going to have 2x plus 3. Are you seeing it? Now, let's go to step 6. He said, combine the first two terms and the last two terms. All right? So we've done that already. So we're in step 7 now. But you notice that in step 6, it said something that was very important, that both brackets must be the same. All right? So the both brackets must be the same. So if you look at what we did here, you see that the bracket here we have here is 2x plus 3. And the bracket we have here is also 2x plus 3. Now the next one, we take step 7. Okay. Sorry, this was step 6. Okay. I skipped steps. This is step 6. Then this is step 7. Okay. Now, step 7, it says that we need to take a representative of the common factors in the bracket, then put the other terms outside. So what are the common factors we have is 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3, so it's the common. Then we're going to put the representative, the remainder, which is what? 3x minus 2 in bracket. So now you can see we factorize it. Now, what we're done factorizing, normally if you're asked to factorize, you stop here because you're done. But usually they could ask you to find the value for x. And in order to find the value for x, so we have to now go to step 7 and step 8. Okay? So we have this now, so we'll go to step 7. Step 8, I beg your pardon. So we have 2x plus 3. So if you're asked to factorize, you stop at step 7. But if you're asked to solve, you then have to go to step 8 and 9. All right? So we're going to have 2x plus 3, 3x minus 2. So we have 2x plus 3, 3x minus 2. Now what do? Step 8, it said equate the first bracket and the second bracket separately to be equal to 0. So we're going to equate the first bracket, which is 2x plus 3, to be equal to 0. We equate the second bracket, which is 3x minus 2, to be equal to 0. Then what does step 9 say? Then simplify and find the value of x. So step 9 said we should simplify and find the value for x. So we have 2x plus 3 equal to 0. We take 3 to the other side, so it's going to give us 2x is equal to minus 3, and divide both sides by 2. So therefore, x is going to be minus 3 over 2. All right? We do the same thing here. We have 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. We take minus 2 to the other side, so it's going to be 3x is equal to 2. Divide both sides by 3. So therefore, x is going to be what? 2 over 3. So that, therefore, for this, so x is going to be minus 3 over 2 or 2 over 3. And that will be the answer for that. Okay? So I'm going to take another example now, just one more, just so that I can make sure that we're all on the same page. Let's take another example now. We're going to pick this one, 6x squared minus 17x minus 14, right? So we'll do the same thing. Step 1, we need to ensure that a is equal to 1. So that means we have a to be equal to 6, the b is equal to minus 17, and the c is equal to minus what? 14. Okay? So the next part is, if you go to step 2 said we have to multiply the coefficient of x squared and the constant term. So we have to multiply a and c basically. So step 2, we're going to multiply a and c. So you're going to have a is 6 multiplied by, a is 6 multiplied by c, that is minus 14, and that will give us minus 84. So that means the answer we get here is minus 84. Now, step 3 is that we have to look for all the product pairs that's going to give us minus 84, okay? So if you go to step 3, it says that write all the possible product pairs that will result in the answer from step 2, all right? So what numbers will give us minus 84? There are several of them, so I'm going to list all of them as much as I can. So we can have 1 and minus 84. Will give us minus 84. You can have minus 1 and 84, and that will give us minus 84. You can also have minus 2 and 24. That will give us 84. Or you can have 2 and minus 24, and that will give us 84. You can also have 3 and I think minus 28 should give us 84. Also, you can also have minus 3 and 28 as well, and that will give us 28, and that will give us 84. We can also have 4 and minus 21, That will give us 84. You can also have minus 4 and 21, and that will give us 84. You can also have 6 and minus 14. That will give us 84. You can also have minus 6 and 14, and that will give us 84. You can have minus 7 and 12. That will give us 84. And you can also have 7 and minus 12 will give us 84. Now, step 4 now said that we need to determine which of these product pairs from step 3 that will give us the middle term. So what is the middle term we're looking for here? So step 4, what is the middle term we're looking for here? We're looking for the b is equal to minus 17, right? So we're looking for which of these numbers will give us minus 17. And the correct numbers that will give us minus 17, if you check it correctly, the one that will give that to you is going to be 4 and minus 21. So if you add 4 and minus 21, it's going to give us minus 17. So it's going to be 4 plus minus 21, and that will give us what? Minus 17. So that is the pair we're selecting. So then step 5, the pairs we're selecting is 4 and minus 17, right? So this is the pairs we're selecting. So what does step 5 say? Step 5 is that we then have to rewrite the middle term with the product pairs, right? So we're going to replace minus 17. So we had 6x squared minus 17x minus 14. Then we're going to replace this minus 17x with 4 and 21. Sorry, this is minus 21. So we're going to replace it with 4 and minus 21. Okay? So we're going to replace it with 4 and minus 21. So it's going to become 6x squared minus 4x plus 4x and minus 21 minus 14. Then we'll now go to step 6. Step 6 said that what should we do? That we should pair the first two and the last two and simplify by taking out the common factors, but both brackets must have the same, okay? So let's go, let's do that. So we're gonna pair them now. So we have 6x squared plus 4x, and we have minus 21x minus 14, okay? So we're gonna take the first two and the last two. So 6x squared, so what is common? We have 2x, and we'll be left with what? 3x plus 2. Then the other one, what you have is minus 7, and you have 3x plus 2. So you can see, at the end of the day, the brackets are the same. Step 7, we'll pick out the one of the common brackets, and then we'll then pick the outside terms in one of the other brackets. So it becomes 2x minus 7, all right? So if you're just told to factorize, you stop at step 7. But if you are told to solve, then you have to now add the step 8 and step 9, all right? So step 8, you have to equate each of them to be equal to 0. So you have this, and you have 2x minus 7 is equal to 0. Then step 9, you then have to what? Simplify. So you have to simplify and find for the value of x. So let's simplify. So we have step 9, okay? So you take 2 to the other side, so it's going to give us 3x is equal to minus 2. You divide both sides by 3, so therefore x is going to be equal to minus 2 over 3. You take 7 to the other side, so it's going to become 2x is equal to 7. You divide both sides by 2, so x is going to be equal to 7 over 2. All right, so that means for this question, all right, our x is going to be equal to minus 2 over 3, or it's going to be 7 over what? 2, and that'll be that for that. All right, so that'll be that for that. The next video, I'm going to just introduce one more method. Is how do we use it's a trick. So it's just going to be an extra bonus video. All right, so it's going to be a trick on how do you use quadratic formula to factorize, okay? I was just having some chats with some students today, and I think I just need to add a video. So they suggested I add a video for that. So I'm gonna have a video on how to use quadratic formula to factorize, okay? So I'm gonna see you in the next video, all right? So if you have any question, feel free to chat me up or stop me, and I'm gonna talk about it with you, all right? Thank you very much.